Anunnaki Alien War of Egypt. The Anunnaki god-kings of ancient Egypt Enki, Ptah, Ra, Osiris and Horus creating the Egyptian civilization after the Great Deluge or Noah's Flood. After the flooding caused by the Great Deluge, Sitchin's ancient astronaut hypothesis claims that the Anunnaki ancient astronaut alien gods divided the earth into 4 regions, one of which was the Egyptian Nile Valley region which fell under the control of Egypt's chosen Anunnaki ancient astronaut god, Ptah. The ancient astronaut theory goes on further to claim that god, Ptah, drained the flood waters and constructed dikes in Egypt in order to establish the Nile Valley realm which the Anunnaki ancient astronaut alien gods would soon be fighting wars amongst themselves over for the control of Egypt. Causes of the Anunnaki ancient astronaut alien war of Egypt. Sitchin's ancient astronaut hypothesis claims that even in the Anunnaki Nile Valley realm of Egypt, the same succession issues that had plagued the ancient astronaut alien gods in Sumer and their home planet Nibiru would also haunt the Anunnaki gods of Egypt. After a period of successful reign, the Anunnaki alien god Ptah was succeeded by his son, Ra as the alien god king of Egypt. Ra had 2 sons, Osiris and Seth, both of whom could potentially succeed him in Egypt. In order to prevent a war for domination of the entire Egyptian kingdom between the Anunnaki alien gods Osiris and Seth, Ra opted to divide Egypt into 2 separate kingdoms between the ancient astronaut gods Set and Osiris. However, the division of the kingdom would ultimately not prevent the war for the control of Egypt between the feuding Anunnaki ancient astronaut alien gods Seth and Osiris, as both Seth and Osiris sought to ensure that their own successor would inherit a united Egypt. Sitchin observes that the Anunnaki ancient astronaut alien bloodline rules of succession that prevailed on the Anunnaki home planet Nibiru fueled the rivalry between Set and Osiris that led to the war between the Anunnaki alien gods of Egypt. According to the Anunnaki succession rules, Ra's successor had to be a son with the purest Anunnaki blood. This meant that such a son had to be born by Osiris and Set's half-sisters, because a son born from a sister with whom both parents were identical would not qualify. Set's only available option was to marry his half-sister Isis. But Osiris blocked his path to the throne by marrying her instead, when he also had the option of marrying Set's sister Nephthys. Marrying Isis, Osiris deprived Set of his only opportunity to ensure that a successor from his bloodline would inherit the Egyptian throne. The marriage between Osiris and Isis thus effectively ended the possibility of Set's heir succeeding the throne, and set the Anunnaki alien gods of Egypt on the path to war. War between the Anunnaki alien gods of Egypt became a virtual certainty when Set resolved to claim the Egyptian throne for himself rather than relying on a successor. After Osiris had married Isis, the stage was thus set for the first Anunnaki alien pyramid war for the throne of Egypt. The death of Osiris in the alien war of Egypt. According to the ancient astronaut theory, after the alien Egyptian god Osiris married the alien Egyptian goddess Isis, Osiris' Anunnaki alien rival the Egyptian god Set had no other way of ensuring that a successor from his own bloodline would obtain the throne of a united Egypt except through the death of the Anunnaki alien god Osiris. In order to accomplish his goal, Set set a trap for Osiris by hosting a party for the Anunnaki ancient astronaut gods, in which Set made a bet calling on the Anunnaki alien gods in attendance to lay in a coffin to see who amongst them would fit in it. In what seemed like a harmless prank, all the ancient astronaut Anunnaki gods in attendance had took their turn, and when it was Osiris' turn, Set sealed the coffin as soon as Osiris entered the coffin, and then dumped the coffin in the sea in bid to drown his Anunnaki rival Osiris. However, Osiris' spouse Isis went in search for the dumped coffin and found Osiris. Set soon became aware of Isis' discovery of Osiris' body, and he retrieved the chest with Osiris' body from Isis, cut Osiris his body in 14 pieces, which he dumped and spread across parts of Egypt. Horus and the Anunnaki alien war of Egypt. Isis nevertheless persisted in her search for Osiris and found all his parts except his phallus, which she needed in order to obtain his divine essence or DNA in order to conceive a child or successor for the Egyptian throne by the god Osiris. Through DNA extraction and artificial insemination technology, Isis managed to impregnate herself with Osiris' essence and gave birth to Horus in what the ancient astronaut hypothesis claims to be the first recorded immaculate conception. Throughout his childhood the god Horus was kept hidden from the Anunnaki god Set. Horus was educated and trained as an Anunnaki divine prince by the gods in support of the alien god Osiris. And when Horus attained adulthood he presented himself before the council of the Anunnaki ancient astronaut alien gods to claim the Egyptian throne as Osiris' successor. Set remained opposed to Horus' claim and a war for the Egyptian throne erupted between the alien ancient astronaut gods, Horus and Set. The Anunnaki alien war between Horus and Set involved a major aerial battle across the Egyptian skies in which Horus was victorious, and the kingship of Egypt was then handed to Horus. After Set was defeated, the Anunnaki Council of Ancient Astronaut Alien Gods awarded Set a kingdom outside Egypt and he became an Asiatic deity. The ancient astronaut theory claims that after the reign of Horus, the rule of the Anunnaki alien gods in ancient Egypt ended. Thereafter demigods ruled until the rule of the first human pharaoh Menes, which marks the beginning of the first dynasty of the Old Kingdom of Egypt, and the unification of the upper and lower kingdoms with Memphis as the capital under Menes. Conclusion. Although the ancient astronaut theory claims that the Egyptian texts reveal an actual war between Egyptian Anunnaki gods, it is probable that Sitchin misinterpreted the ancient Egyptian Osirian drama religion, a fundamental aspect of Egyptian Kemetic spirituality in the form of a metaphoric story on the struggle of the individual will symbolized by the Egyptian Neter deity Haru to achieve destiny by following divine law, Ma'at. The war between Horus and Set referred to by Sitchin is essentially a metaphor of the struggle of the soul in the pursuit of destiny, which Sitchin mistranslated by interpreting it literally to create a myth about a war between Egyptian Anunnaki gods that never happened, and the mythical story was always understood as symbolic and not literal by ancient Egyptians. In addition, the Abydos Kings list states Egypt's pre-dynastic rulers dating back to at least 3000 BCE, demonstrating that the rulers listed in the Abydos Kings list relied on by Sitchin were actual rulers of pre-dynastic Egypt dating back to the days of the Tasseti civilization, which was the predecessor of ancient Egypt. As such, there is also no reason to accept Sitchin's view that all the Egyptian kings before Menes were mythical, because Menes, Narmer, only unified the southern and northern kingdoms to create a new single confederacy called Egypt, Kemet, with its first capital at Memphis. For these reasons, the recorded pre-dynastic history of Egypt suggests that Sitchin's Anunnaki ancient alien astronaut hypothesis claiming that the rulers of Egypt before Narmer were Anunnaki gods is not supported by available evidence.